Hey guys, this is Greg Preet, and if you've got a website, chances are at some point in time you have tried to figure out how you could get that website to rank a little bit better on Google and on the other search engines. And if that's you, then this training that I'm about to go through is exactly what you need. You know, I get asked all the time, how can I improve my Google rankings? What exactly do I need to do? Well, I've been helping people to accomplish that now for quite some time. I've got customers literally all over the world. And the interesting thing about it is that when you talk to most people about search engine optimization, there seems to be kind of a mystery out there. People really don't understand what it is. They don't understand how it works. And when you're working with an SEO company, a lot of times they won't tell you the secrets. They won't tell you the ingredients that go into search engine rankings because they're afraid to tell you the secrets, and then you'll do it yourself and you won't need them anymore. It's not quite how I operate. When I help people with their search engine optimization, I really have nothing to hide. I'll tell them exactly what it is that we're doing, how we're going to accomplish the results, and I'll build the trust with and the relationship with the client because truly there really is nothing to hide. There's no secrets here. Google has specific algorithms in place that have to be followed in order for you to get the search engine rankings that you want. And you know, what I want to do here is just kind of go through the steps of exactly what it takes for you to get top Google or any search engine rankings. You know, how to get to page 1 and stay there. You know, getting to page 1 for a day or two doesn't do you any good, right? So we want to develop a strategy that's going to allow you to, over time, get to page 1 and then maintain those rankings. And guys, here's the thing. You can do it for any search term that you want, in any market, any industry, any niche. You can accomplish this by following these steps. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, it all begins with selecting your keywords and doing the proper keyword research. Now, here's what I find most people do. They build a website or have a website built for them, and then once it's built, then they start worrying about search engine rankings. And the problem with that strategy, or doing it in that order, is that there's certain keywords that have to be built into your website as it's being built in order for the search engines to even be able to find it. And so really, the time to develop your keywords and do your keyword research is actually before you build the website. That's the optimal strategy. Now, if you've already got a website and you didn't do any keyword research prior, that's okay. All is not lost. You can go back and you can make some changes to your site. But it will save you a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of times it'll save you money if you do this, you know, employ this strategy of doing some keywords and keyword research prior to building your site. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, you know, keywords are the words that people will search for in order to find you. So, for instance, let's say you are a dry cleaners and you are in, let's just say, Orange County, California. Maybe you're in Irvine, okay? So you would like to rank for the search terms Irvine dry cleaners, okay? Now those would be keywords that your business would want to target, your website would want to target in order for people to be able to find you easily. Now, when I'm talking about keyword research, what that means is figuring out what people will search for in order to find businesses like yours in the area where you're located, and taking a look at your competition within those keywords, taking a look at what kind of sites they have, maybe how they're built, what kind of link structures, how long they've been in place, what their current Google page ranking is. You know, knowing who you're up against with any particular keyword search is really important, because it'll give you an idea of how long it's going to take you to achieve results. So, for instance, let's go back to that dry cleaning model. If you're in Irvine and you are looking to rank for Irvine dry cleaners, you can only imagine your competition for that is going to be a lot more difficult than if you were in a smaller, more rural area, or it's going to be easier to rank for Irvine dry cleaners than it would be, say, to just rank for dry cleaners. So think about your competition for a minute. if you're trying to rank for Irvine dry cleaners, you're competing against other dry cleaners in Irvine. Now, in Irvine, California, there's a population maybe, at least a few 100,000. I don't know the exact population, but it's a fairly sizable city. So you're going to have lower competition if you are in a niche or an industry where there's less people that are trying to compete for those keywords. But the other thing you want to look at too is how many people are actually out there searching for those keywords. If you're ranking #1 on a page where nobody ever searches those terms, then a lot of times that's work that you've done really that won't generate any traffic to your website. So choosing the proper keywords, doing your keyword research ahead of time before you build your website will save you a ton of time and, like I said, most likely a ton of money. But if you haven't done it yet, then the time to do it is now and make those proper adjustments into your site. Okay, titles, descriptions, tags, internal URLs, these are all terms that you may or may not understand. So I'm going to explain it as simply as possible. These are things that are built into the source code of your website. They're not things that are readily visible. When I say titles, I'm not talking about the title of your homepage as it appears when somebody's looking at it. I'm talking about the title that's built into your source code in the background of your website. It's not actually visible. Okay. Now, one real quick way for you to figure out if your site has good optimization is to take a look at the title of your homepage. Go in and look at that source code. You'll see at the top of it, it'll say title, and then there'll be some words after that. If the title of your homepage is the name of your business, then you are wasting valuable real estate on your website. Because here's the thing, that only helps you then if somebody is Googling your business name. So let's go back to that dry cleaning example. If the name of your business is Joe's Dry Cleaning, in the title of your homepage, your web designer has called it Joe's Dry Cleaning. Well, that's only going to help you in terms of search engine optimization and in terms of Google being able to find you if somebody actually Googles the words Joe's Dry Cleaning. So it's important that when you are putting the titles and descriptions and tags in the internal URLs within your website, that you are incorporating those keywords that we just talked about. Now, I'm going to skip down to that internal URLs because that's also a very, very important piece of the puzzle here. Let's say you've got a page that says contact us. A lot of people have that on their website. Well, you should take a look at what the actual web address is for that page. Most people, it'll be their domain name, so joesdrycleaning.com/contact us. Well, again, that is real estate on your website that is being misutilized or underutilized, because you could easily incorporate some of your keywords that you're hoping to rank for within that URL to make it more readily visible by Google and the other search engines. Now, you may or may not know how to do that, but let me tell you, it's not a very difficult thing to do. Same thing with changing the descriptions and the tags, or sometimes they'll be called meta tags, within each website or within each web page. Those things need to be structured around the keywords that you are attempting to target, and if they're not done correctly, then guys, you're really putting yourself at a disadvantage to your competition, because you're making it harder for Google to find you, or for any of the search engines to find you. So very important that your titles of every page, your descriptions, your tags, your internal URLs are done correctly, incorporating your keywords into those items. Now, keyword density. Keyword density within your content. Now, what that means is when you're writing the content for each page, so the things that people are actually reading on your website, you've got to make sure that you have incorporated your keywords into that content. Now, let me give you a horrible example of how this was done incorrectly. I work with a lot of people in a lot of different industries. I work with people in the network marketing industry. I work with people that are in the pet industry. And like I said, I've got customers all over the world, lawyers, I've got financial planners, I've got accountants, a lot of different people from a lot of different niches. in this particular example, I was working with somebody who was in the dog industry, looking to sell things like dog collars, dog clothing, dog accessories, okay? Now, what they wanted to rank for, obviously, were terms like dog collars and dog clothing. But if I looked at their home page, now this might surprise you, if I looked at their home page and read that content, the word dog did not appear anywhere on that person's home page, and yet here they were telling me that they wanted to rank for words that all contained dog in them. So there's a little bit of common sense here, guys. If you want your website to rank for certain keywords, you've got to utilize those keywords within the content, not just on your home page, but on every page throughout your entire website. Now, that doesn't mean that every other word has to be a keyword. In fact, you don't want that. You need to work them in gradually. But on an average, you want about 2 to 3% of your words on a page to be your keywords. So if you've got 200 words on your home page, 200 words of text, you're going to want about 6 to 8 of those words to be the keywords that you are targeting. Make sense? Let's move on. Here's where a lot of people really fail to manage their website correctly, and that's with regularly updated content, and that's with either articles or blog posts that are added to your website at least on a basis of maybe twice a month, but I would say to be more optimal, you'd want to do it at least once a week. I do this with all of my my websites. I add blog posts, I add articles, I add content, usually on a weekly basis. When I'm first getting started with a website, I'll add it even more often than that. Here's what I want you to think about. Think from in terms of what Google wants. Okay, Google wants to provide their customers with the most recent and current up-to-date information. Now, a lot of people will build a website, and once it's built, they'll say to themselves, okay, good, it's done. And they won't do anything. They won't make any changes unless, you know, something comes up within their company and they have to make a specific change for a reason. They won't make regular updates and regular changes. They won't add new content. The problem with that is over time, Google will look at your website as being old with no updated content, no new useful information that you're providing for people. Let's think about this also. Why do people usually go to Google and do a search? Well, 9 times out of 10, if not 99 times out of 100, they're looking for information. So Google wants to provide people with information that is the most recent, relevant information out there. So if you don't have a blog or a page for articles, at the very minimum, having a blog integrated into your website is by far the best. If you don't have the ability to do that, then you should create a page on your website where you can go in and add frequent articles and topics that provide information that are useful to your customer base. And within those articles, within those blog posts, you need to be incorporating your keywords. Okay, doing this will help you not only to get search engine rankings faster, but once you get those search engine rankings, you will be able to keep them much easier. Now, to further illustrate my point, here's what I would tell you to do. Go to Google, do a search for anything. It really doesn't matter. Search for tennis shoes, search for anything that you want, and then take a look at the top 10 sites, the sites that come up on page 1 for that search. You will find that almost always those websites have integrated either articles or blogs or something where they are posting regular new updated information. And almost 100% of the time, those are the sites that you're going to find on the first few pages of Google. And the sites that don't do that, well, you're not going to find them at all. You'll be lucky to find them. So don't be lazy about your website. Don't assume that just because your website is finished and your website designer has told you, hey, I'm done, don't assume that your website is done. A good website that's well marketed, that gets excellent search engine rankings and maintains those rankings, those sites are never done. You will never ever be completely done with your website. It is an ongoing process, and you must add content regularly to your site in order to get the rankings and keep the rankings. Now, this is another piece that people so often forget. Having content off your site, okay, that links back to your site. So here's how Google looks at this. Google wants to see how popular you are. So how are they going to know who has the popular websites out there and who doesn't have the popular websites out there? Because Google wants to rank the popular guys at the top. Well, the way that Google judges your popularity is by the number of links that are built outside of your site that link back to your site. Now, those links have to be specific types of links. Number one, they have to be one-way links. It doesn't really do you any good to go to somebody else that has a website and say, hey, listen, I'll put your link on my site and you put my link on your site. We'll, in essence, trade links. You hear people doing this all the time. Google hates those types of links. They're basically worthless, so don't even bother doing them. In fact, if you do a lot of those types of links, Google can actually ban your site, and they have done that for people that have built improper links to their site. What they want is they want somebody who has gone to your site and has liked what they've seen, and they bookmark it or they link to it so that they can go back to it at a later time. Now, the other thing that's very important is to have content built outside of your site. So content, let's go back to that dry cleaning example that I used earlier. They want to see that maybe there's another page somewhere else that's got information about dry cleaning, and within that information is a link that leads back to your website. Now, it's not enough just to do that once or twice unless you've got absolutely no competition within your niche. Chances are, though, whatever your industry is, if it's a profitable industry, you've got competition out there. And so you can't just have one or two links. Depending upon your competition, you may need to have hundreds, if not even thousands, of these types of links that are built that all go back to your site. Now, it's important that these links are built correctly. They have to be built on websites and on content that is within your niche, within your industry, that's pertinent to your industry. And they also have to be built using what's called anchor text. Now, anchor text is a pretty simple way to explain it. Again, let's go back to the dry cleaning example. What we would want, if you want to rank for the words Irvine dry cleaners, then what we would need is links that are out there on the internet that say Irvine dry cleaners, and if somebody clicks on that link, it takes them back to your site. That's called an anchor text link, when it utilizes the keywords that you're targeting as a link back to your site. So one-way links utilizing anchor text, and within content that's not on your site, it's on other people's sites, and that is pertinent within your niche, within your industry. How do you get that? Well, you can post things on other people's blogs. You can write articles and press releases and post them on literally hundreds of different sites that are out there for free, all with links going back to your site. Okay? Now, what's most important? People ask me that all the time. I'm limited on time. What's the most important thing I need to do on my website or for my website in order to gain search engine rankings and help my organic listings? Here's the secret, guys. It's all important. You can't skip any of this. If you want your website to be successful, if you want it to get traffic, if you want it to get search engine rankings, you cannot leave out any of these steps. You have to do your keyword research. You have to pick your keywords properly. You have to build your content around those keywords on your site. You have to incorporate those keywords into your tags, titles, descriptions, and URLs. You have to develop content off your site using those keywords that link back to your site. You've got to do it all. Yeah, I know it's a daunting task, but if you want to compete online, that's what is necessary, and it has to be done on an ongoing basis. You don't get to do it for 2 or 3 weeks and then stop and expect that you're going to have high search engine rankings and be able to keep them. In fact, if you're in a really competitive field, like for instance maybe the real estate industry or the insurance industry, you may have to do this work for months maybe 6, 7, 8 months before you see any results at all, because your competition has already done this work. Your competition has already built the links. Your competition has already developed their websites correctly, because there's thousands, if not even millions, of people out there within your industry, within your niche. So you've got to have realistic expectations and realize that it could take some work over an extended period of time for you to crack into, the top of the search engine rankings. But here's the thing that I can promise you. If you follow the formula, if you follow those steps that I have just outlined, it doesn't matter what your industry is in, you can definitely crack into the top pages of Google, if not even page 1. It just needs to be done consistently, and if you're not there yet, it just means you need to do it longer. That's how all of the sites that do reach page 1 have done it. Okay, so now, what are your options? You really have 2 options going forward from here if you want your website to be successful and to rank highly. You either have to do all of that work yourself. If you've got the time and you know how to do it, hey, that'll save you a heck of a lot of money to just do it yourself. A lot of people do it that way. Or you can hire someone to do it for you. Now, I'm a big believer in the fact that you've got a business to run, and you need to spend your time managing your business, and leave the search engine optimization, the content development, the keyword placement, leave that up to somebody, an expert that really knows what they're doing. Now, I provide services that can do any or all of what I've outlined here in this brief little training presentation. But whether you hire me or you hire somebody else, if you want to be successful online, these are really your only 2 options. Do the work yourself or hire someone else to do it for you. So what I invite you to do, if you'd like to talk with me a little bit more and see how I might be able to help you to improve your search engine rankings, feel free to contact me. I've got a couple of websites where I have a lot of free tips and strategies and marketing advice. They're both listed right there on the screen. Like I said, that's free tips, free advice. You can follow me on Twitter or on Facebook. I do provide information quite often to people free of charge. So there's a lot of information that you can get just by following me and checking out my websites. And if you want me to try to intervene and give you some specific help, then by all means contact me, and we'll see if we can work something out where I can help you to improve your search engine rankings. So guys, I hope you got some valuable information. I would invite you to save this page so that you can come back to this presentation later and revisit it if you've got questions. And as always, I wish you the best of success, and I hope to talk to you all soon. Thanks.